What's going on, YouTube? Thomas L. here with the new film Dragged Across Concrete opening this week. Since the film stars Mel Gibson as well as Vince Vaughn, I've already did my top 10 Vince Vaughn movies. So in this video, I decided to do my top 10 favorite Mel Gibson movies. Now, Mel Gibson, I mean, yeah, he had like lots of controversy, stuff that happened in the past and all that. But that aside, I think Mel Gibson is a tremendous actor and a tremendous director because he's directed some pretty good stuff also. So, that being said, here's my 10 favorite Mel Gibson movies. Coming in at number 10 is The Beaver. Now, this movie is directed by Jodie Foster, who also worked with Mel Gibson in the movie Maverick. And I gotta say, between Maverick and The Beaver, I kinda like The Beaver a little more. The Beaver, I guess you could say it was a different side of Mel Gibson that you... Like, it was a very lighthearted little film. I mean, in it, Mel Gibson plays a character named Walter Black, who's like the head of a failing toy company, and he's like very deeply depressed. Like he's pretty much a divorcee, and his eldest son, Porter, played by Anton Yelchin, doesn't really like him, and doesn't want nothing to do with him and all. So, and pretty much Mel Gibson's character is, I guess you could say, kind of a drunk, and he's pretty much Mel Gibson here. I'll just put it that way. And so since he's like lonely and all that, he decides to make like a puppet, as a beaver. Like he decides to make a beaver puppet, and he makes it talk and all that. It's actually, I mean, it's a little weird and all, but it's actually not that bad of a film. I mean, Mel Gibson, I think it's probably one of his best performances he's given in recent years. He was really great here. Anton Yelchin was great. Jodie Foster was good. It also had Jennifer Lawrence. Some pretty good cast members. I mean, if you guys have never seen The Beaver, I know it sounds a little weird, but it's actually really good and heartfelt. All right, coming in at number 9 is The Patriot. The Patriot was directed by Roland Emmerich, and this is pretty much another historical epic that Mel Gibson started, because he's no stranger to historical epics. The Patriot is a really good and very bloody little film. I should say little, but yeah. It even had the late great Heath Ledger. He was really good here. In it, the movie takes place in 1776 in South Carolina, and you got Mel Gibson as Benjamin Martin, who's like a French Indian War hero who's like haunted by his past, and he wants nothing more than to live peacefully on his small plantation, and wants no part of war with. And wants like no part of a war with the most powerful nation in the world, Great Britain. And so, meanwhile, his two eldest sons, Gabriel and Thomas, can't wait to enlist in the newly formed Continental Army. And so, when South Carolina, decides to join the rebellion against England, Gabriel must decide to join the rebellion against England. And he also immediately signs up to fight without his father's permission. And you got Heath Ledger as Colonel William Tarrington, who's infamous for his brutal tactics. Comes and burns the Martin plantation to the ground. So when tragedy strikes, Benjamin quickly finds himself torn between protecting his family and seek revenge, along with being a part of the birth of a new and a young and ambitious nation and all. This movie is brutal. There is some very violent stuff in this. This movie is even more violent than Braveheart. And I gotta say, The Patriot is really underrated. I don't really see, hear people talk about The Patriot a lot. Something that. It's actually a really good film. I mean, it's pretty intense at times. There are some intense moments in this film. but it was really good. I mean, Heath Ledger, he was of course great. The one who plays like his sons was pretty good. Really cool film. I mean, I haven't really seen this movie for watch mouse, but it's a still really decent film. All right, coming in at number 8 is What Women Want. Now, What Women Want is, I guess you could say, kind of a like the recent Taraji Henson movie. Well, What Men Want is, of course, a remake of this. So, and What Women Want, Mel Gibson plays a guy who all of a sudden could hear women's thoughts, and also you got Helen Hunt in this. Ooh, sorry. Anyway, it was also directed by I think Nancy Myers directed this, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, Nancy Myers did a pretty good job at directing. Mel Gibson, like he shows that he could do a comedy as well, and I thought like his part here was pretty good. And he played the character really well. He had like a good he had like good chemistry with Helen Hunt. And if you guys never seen What Women Want, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. And What Women Want was actually pretty decent too, by the way. All right, coming in at number 7 is Passion of the Christ. Now this is of course now this movie stirred lots of controversy when it got released. I'm not going to go into any details of the controversy or anything, but yeah, it had lots of controversies in it. And of course, it starred Jim Caviezel as Jesus Christ, and it's about like the downfall of. And it's, of course, I guess you could say it's pretty much about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And this movie, you want to talk about the Patriot being brutal? This movie is completely brutal. Like, this is seriously a movie you cannot watch over and over. I mean, you could probably just watch this movie just once, and that will be it. Like, I've seen this movie mainly just once, and I don't really watch this movie a whole lot, to be honest with you, because it's a really intense film. And, I mean, Mel Gibson directing this was pretty interesting. And, yeah, I mean, the movie got released in 2004, and it's a movie that still holds up today. Like, when it got released, it was like maybe one of the highest grossing R-rated movies of all time. And well deserved. It was a really good film, and Jim Caviezel, like he's probably my favorite. He's probably my favorite actor to play the role of Jesus. Jim Caviezel was great as a role. Because you had Monica Bellucci as Mary Magdalene. Some pretty good cast members was in this, but Mel Gibson's directing in this was terrific. Coming in at number 6 is Signs. Now, this movie, of course, was directed by M. Night Shyamalan and starred Mel Gibson as a farmer named Graham Hess, who, discovers a message in his crops, which is, of course, a alien, pretty much a alien message. And so, he ends up investigating the unfolding mystery, and what he finds will alter the lives of his brother Joaquin Phoenix and his children and all. So, I mean, this movie is a really good alien film. Like Joaquin Phoenix, him as Mel Gibson's brother, that was pretty cool to watch. Of course, you got Rory Culkin and Abigail Breslin as his kids here. This is a really good sci-fi movie, and it shows that how good that Mel Gibson could do sci-fi pretty well. Of course, he did The Happening, which we don't talk about, but anyway. Signs, I admit, was a little confusing. Like, it is a bit of a confusing film, but it's actually really decent. And, I mean, if you guys still never seen Signs, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Coming in at number 5 is Hacksaw Ridge. Now, this movie scored a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars when it got released. I love this movie. Hacksaw Ridge is terrific. I guess you could say it was pretty much Mel Gibson's directing comeback. And I mean, before this, of course, lots of people wasn't really sure if Mel Gibson, like if the world was right to forgive Mel Gibson and all because of lots of racism stuff that he said in the past. But it looks like people are slowly forgiving him because the movie actually did really well when it got released. Scored an Oscar nomination. I believe Mel Gibson scored a nomination for Best Director. I'm not 100% sure. I'll double check that, but if not, I think he should have definitely got a nomination if he did it. But of course, Andrew Garfield was terrific. He scored an Oscar nomination for this. He even had Vince Vaughn, Sam Worthington, Teresa Palmer. Hugo Weaving was great. Of course, this movie was a World War II film, and it starred Andrew Garfield as a Desmond T. Toss, who pretty much won like the Congress Medal of Honor, despite refusing to bear arms during World War II. So instead, I guess you could say he's pretty much a doctor instead of because in the film, like in the film and in real life, actually, Desmond, doesn't really like guns. He doesn't want, kill people and all that. So instead, he decides to, go into the medical instead of, like bearing arms and all that. Andrew Garfield was great. Vince Vaughn, he was really terrific. Yeah, Hacksaw Ridge is a really great film. And after this, I would be interested to see Mel Gibson's next directing film because that would be cool to watch. Like the guy, he could direct pretty well. Like he's a really good director. All right, coming in at number 4 is Ransom. Now this movie was directed by Ron Howard, and it starred Mel Gibson as Tom Mullen, who's like an airline worker. And it's about like where a group of criminals, want a piece of like his cash and all. So they end up kidnapping his son, played by Brawley Nolte, for a $2 million ransom, and encouraged by his wife, played by Renee Russo, and an FBI agent, played by Delroy Lindo. He ends up preparing to pay the money, but like the ransom goes away, where Tom decides to turn the tables on the kidnappers by making the ransom a bounty on their heads, which he pretty much he ends up announcing this whole stuff on national TV. This is kind of a different ransom film. Like it's really good. Like it'll leave you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end. Renee Russo was pretty good. Delroy Lindo was good. Mel Gibson was terrific here. If you guys never see Ransom, it's another Gibson movie worth checking out. Coming in at number 3 is Braveheart. Now, lots of people probably add this at their number 1 favorite. I like the movie, but it's not really my favorite and all. Braveheart is a terrific movie. Like, it, of course, features like maybe one of the best speeches in the movie. They'll never get our life. Wait, I think they'll never take our life. Oh no, wait, it's they may take our life, but they'll never take our freedom. I always keep it's been a while since I've seen Braveheart, to be honest with you, but I always keep forgetting that whole speech, but it was a really good speech though. Of course, this is also a historical event film where Mel Gibson plays the role of William Wallace, who's like a medieval Scottish patriot, who's of course spurred into a revolt against the English, where like the love of his life is slaughtered, and like it ends up leading his army into battles that become a war, and like his events into England, during King Edward I, his throne, before he is like captured and executed. I mean, this is pretty much iconic. I mean, it scored it actually got an Oscar win for Best Picture. I believe Mel Gibson won for Best Director. I think I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, it's pretty much a classic. It got released in I think 92 or 93, early 90s. I think 94 probably. I can't remember the actual year it got released, but it's a classic. I mean, it's a really good medieval film. good performances. Like, it's of course a good history film. And if you guys have never seen Braveheart, check it out. It's a really good one. Sorry. Coming in at number 2 is Mad Max. Pretty much, I don't care. I'm going with all the Mad Max movies that he's in. I mean, Thunderdome's a good one. I mean, if the Mad Max movies are really fun. Of course, he did not really star in the. Of course, the last Mad Max movie was A Fury Road with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy was good in that, but he was not as good as Mel Gibson, to be honest. I mean, Mel Gibson plays this role really well. It's a really good action adventure film. It was very good character driven. Like, Mel Gibson barely talks here, by the way. And of course, these movies were directed. Like, I believe all of them was directed by George Miller, who also directed the Happy Feet movies. And he was supposed to direct Justice League, but God knows whatever happened to that one. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the Mad Max movies are really fun. They got great action. They're really violent. Really cool films, I should say. And I gotta say, I'm really hoping to see maybe Mel Gibson reprise his role one of these days. This guy knows if we're ever gonna get like a follow-up to Fury Road. But you know what? I'll be down to see a follow-up to the original Mad Max with Mel Gibson back as the role. That will be awesome to see. All right, my number 1 favorite Mel Gibson movie of all time. That's going to be the Lethal Weapon films. I really love these films. I mean, the first Lethal Weapon got released in 88 or 89. The Lethal Weapon, I think 87. Around late 80s, it got released in. Anyway, the Lethal Weapon movies are really fun. They're really funny. Mel Gibson as Riggs and Danny Glover as Murtaugh was pretty cool. And of course, you got Rene Russo as well. Joe Pesci was in these things. Really fun film. The scripts were directed by Shane Black. He did a good job with the scripts of these things. Yeah, I mean, if you guys never seen Andy Lethal Weapon movies by now, do yourself a favor, watch them. They're really fun. And Mel Gibson, it'll be cool seeing him back as Riggs again, but I don't know if we're ever going to see another Lethal Weapon movie in the future. Because I know we still got the TV show. So far, it's still going, but I don't know if that's even going to. I mean, I don't know if the TV show's even going to last, to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah, I mean, definitely really fun films. I mean, and I gotta say, I really love Part 4. I know lots of people don't really care much for Part 4, but I really dug the fourth one. Anyway, I said enough. If you guys never seen Andy Lethal Weapon movies, definitely check them out. I think you'll have a good time with them. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Beaver. 9, The Patriot. 8, What Women Want. 7, The Passion of the Christ. 6, Signs. 5, Hacksaw Ridge. 4, Ransom. 3, Braveheart. 2, Mad Max. 1, Lethal Weapon. Alright, now he's done loads of other stuff over the years. Let me pull up his credit list. Lots of people really like Apocalypto. I mean, I saw that one time and I really did. I was really bored by that movie. Bernard Martyr, he was good in. Expendables 3. Daddy's Home 2 is a good one. Let's see. Machete Kills. Definitely not Payback. I wasn't a fan of that. Bloodfather is actually really a cool action film. It was kind of like his Taken, if you will. Let's see. Maverick. Chicken Run. Oh yeah, I forgot he was in Pocahontas. Air America with him and Robert Downey Jr. is a good one. The Bounty. Some pretty good stuff. Anyway, let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Mel Gibson movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.